What happens with young and restless Sharon and Daniel will shock you. Sharon's family is determined to help her on Young and Restless, but it's bound to be a case of too little, too late, as her story is on track to take its darkest, twistiest turn yet. Sharon, as we all are aware by now, has set her sights on Daniel, and not in a good way. With the help of the devil looking over her shoulder, aka Cameron, she's pinpointed Phyllis' son as the person responsible for all of the pain and loss she's suffered in her life thanks to his role in Cassie's death. Of course, Daniel was merely a teen who had too much to drink at a party, but when Cassie got behind the wheel to try and drive him home, their stories became forever intertwined by the tragedy that unfolded. The devastation of losing Cassie was compounded for Sharon by her husband Nick taking up with Daniel's mother, Phyllis, in the aftermath as their marriage buckled under the weight of the intense grief. There have been many ups and downs since then, including reconciliations with Nick, but at the present time, Sharon's outlook is being clouded by complications related to her bipolar disorder. Find out what's going on with Sharon's meds here. Sharon was already on the struggle bus, seeing and talking to her dead daughter Cassie, when Faith and Daniel's daughter Lucy got into a car wreck. This was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back for Sharon, who started really going off the deep end, and who could blame her? The circumstances and the connection to Daniel's family was simply way too close for comfort to what happened with Cassie and Daniel back in the day. Not to mention Sharon and Nick had already nearly lost faith in a drinking and driving wreck in the not-too-distant past. It was all too much. That brings us up to date, where we have Cameron acting as the dark side of Sharon's troubled mind, egging her on to do something. At first it was unclear. Would she go after Daniel's daughter Lucy? Would she and Phyllis go to battle anew? Now we've realized that she's settled on Daniel as her target. As Cameron keeps pounding home, Daniel is to blame and something has to be done. Throwing us off was a spoiler suggesting that Sharon clears the air with Daniel, but with Cameron in the picture, literally, see below. There's no way she's gonna let bygones be bygones. More than likely, this is the precursor to lulling him into a false sense of security so she can lure him into some kind of trap. Disturbingly, it's becoming increasingly apparent that what Cameron is suggesting to Sharon, without saying it in so many words, is that Daniel needs to die. She even dreamed about how nice her life would have been had Daniel perished and not Cassie. Yeah, that's definitely where this is headed. That brings us to good news and bad news. The good news? Ashley at her altars talked about offing Tucker for months, and he's still walking the earth, which means there's every chance that Sharon's deadly scheme won't come to fruition. The bad news? The coming days will have Sharon and Cameron holed up in a seedy motel. As all soap viewers know, only sinister things go down in these places. In fact, it looks a lot like the one where Jordan held Wee Harrison captive. But the darkest, twistiest bit of this may not even be Sharon's killer intentions, but the writer setting the scene in a motel room. As longtime Young and Restless viewers well know, it was in motel rooms where Cameron attacked Sharon, not once but twice, and where she thought she had killed him after smashing a champagne bottle over his head. So it's a full circle moment in the most disturbing of ways.